And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Yolo High Wheelers Baseball. We are live on YouTube Live. It's the visiting Grand Junction Jackalopes and the hometown Yolo High Wheelers. Game 4 of this six-game series, and so far 3 for 3 for the High Wheelers, winning here on Tuesday night, 19-8. And then the last two games, a little more mainstream scoring, 3-2 Yolo and 4-1 yesterday in favor of Yolo. So the High Wheelers obviously trying to make it four straight wins as we get set for this afternoon's action on another very hot day for baseball here in Davis. Pitching matchup this afternoon for Grand Junction. It'll be the left-hander Brandon Ross. He gets the baseball. Ross, no wins, one loss, 6.43 ERA. Now, granted, it's only after one game. That was a loss last week at home to Boise. Meanwhile, Yolo will send on the mound, man just about to make his professional debut, and that's right-hander Sean Gamelin. He's the only High Wheeler who's yet to get into a game this year, obviously with all the postponements last week. Obviously, Gamelin did not pitch, so that is why we are not seeing him until 10 days into the season. But, of course, this is game number 7 for the Yolo High Wheelers. So anyway, that is the story here this afternoon as these two teams get set. The lefty Ross for Grand Junction and the righty Gamelin for Yolo. All right, we're going to break for just a moment, and then when we get back, we will give you the starting lineups. You're listening to Yolo High Wheelers Baseball on YouTube Live. As we welcome you back to YouTube Live, it is the visiting Grand Junction Jackalopes and the hometown Yolo High Wheelers. Doug Greenwald with you here at Dobbins Stadium on this Friday afternoon for baseball. So again, we go 4:30 today, 4:30 tomorrow, and then 1:05 start on Sunday. Let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the visiting Grand Junction Jackalopes, who come in at 1 win and 7 losses under manager Chris Nabashu. Leading it off and playing center field, Lavoisier Fisher batting second, and playing second, Andres Rios. Drew Sackett, he hits 30s at shortstop. The designated hitter, batting cleanup, Matt Turner. Conrad Villafuerte hits fifth, he's at first base. The third baseman is Michael Bathauer, and he hits sixth. Damian Henderson is slotted seventh, he plays right field. Doing the catching and batting eighth is Sam Olson, and hitting ninth, rounding out the lineup, is the left fielder, Ethan Smith. On the mound today for Grand Junction, the left-hander, Brandon Ross. So again for Grand Junction and manager Chris Nabashu, it's Fisher, Rios, and Sackett, Turner, Villafuerte, and Bathauer, Henderson, Olson, Smith, and the lefty Ross on the mound. For the Yolo High Wheelers and manager Billy Horton, Yolo comes in with a record of 4-2, leading it off and playing shortstop, Braylon Marine. Batting second, the designated hitter, Bobby Leday. Hitting third at first base, Jose Gonzalez. Sam Kaczynski, he bats cleanup, and he's at third base. Hitting fifth and doing the catching, Mason Minzy. The left fielder, batting sixth, Tanner Smith. Kirkland Banks is slotted seventh, he's at second base. Justin Kirby, he bats eighth, and he's in right field, and hitting ninth, and in center field, his first appearance this year in center field, is Kyle Guerra. On the mound, making his professional debut for the Yolo High Wheelers, and that is the right-hander, Sean Gamelin. So again, for the Yolo High Wheelers and manager Billy Horton, it's Marine, Leday, and Gonzalez, Kaczynski, Minzy, and Smith, Banks, Kirby, Guerra, and the righty on the mound in Gamelin, the starting lineups here this afternoon. Again, today it's you got a free Scantron sheet if you come to the ballpark. It's Finals Friday, also a blue essay book in the middle of this game as well. You'll receive that. And then tomorrow we have Greek night here at the ballpark, Greek Life Saturday. So come rush for the High Wheelers while representing your chapter. The most passionate fan wins a team-signed bat. You get to be fan of the night, you'll get a bat signed by the High Wheelers. Then we go again on Sunday, Signature Sunday here at the ballpark, and that'll be a 1:05 first pitch. And then we go to Oakland starting on Tuesday night. It'll be our first road trip of the season. All right, we're going to pause and send it down now for the playing of the national anthem. the starting lineups and, of course, the national anthem here this afternoon. Again, the Grand Junction Jackalopes and the Yolo High Wheelers getting set for action here this afternoon. Again, on this sunny Friday from Yolo County, and obviously good to get some fans back in the stands here this afternoon. We were not allowed to have fans the last, or we didn't have fans the last few days just because of the midweek time. So at least now we are able to get things going more on a normal basis here today. All right, on the mound today for the Yolo High Wheelers, and that is the right-hander Sean Gamelin. This is his professional debut. Gamelin is 24 years old, 5'9", 210 pounds. He's a New Englander. He's from West Kingston, Rhode Island. Spent last year with Williamsport in the MLB Draft League. But again, this is his professional debut here this afternoon. Gamelin, a season ago with Williamsport, was 6-0. So 6-0 with the Crosscutters 1 year ago, and an ERA of what was the ERA? 3.32. So that was for Gamelin when. So, anyway, we are just about ready to go here this afternoon from Dobbins Stadium, and Lavoisier Fisher to lead it off for the Grand Junction Jackalopes. So, it'll be Fisher, Rios, and Sackett to face the right-hander, and Sean Gamelin, who is working the first base side of the rubber. He winds, and the first pitch of the ball game is taken down the middle. Strike one. No balls and one strike to count, and we are underway at 4:36 this afternoon. 94 degrees from Davis. The 0-1 pitch in the dirt for a ball. And the count's a 1 ball and 1 strike, so it's only getting hotter, folks, throughout the, not so much throughout the day, but obviously throughout the rest of spring, and in a few weeks we'll be officially into summer. The windup in the 1-1 to Fisher, low ball 2. And the count's now at 2 balls and 1 strike. The game's first batter, and Lavoisier Fisher 0 for 4 yesterday. Outfield medium depth and straightaway. Gamelin kicks in the 2-1, and a swing and a miss. All down and away, strike 2. And the count's now at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gamelin, capital Gamelin. Curveball, slider, and a changeup for Gamelin, in addition to a fastball. The kick on the 2-2, line foul left side. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Fisher. Gamelin, mentioned from New England, from West Kingston, Rhode Island. Outfield around to the left on the 2-2 to Fisher, outside ball 3. And the count is at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Lavoisier Fisher. But anyway, Gamelin, first time for him at least playing baseball on the West Coast. The 3-2 here, and that's driven high and foul down the right field side. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gamelin, again, 5'9", 210 pounds, went to a couple of Division III schools in New England, NCAA D3 schools up in New England. Tell you about that in a moment. The windup in the 3-2 to Fisher, and that is low inside, ball 4. So he draws a walk, and he will trot down to first base, and that'll bring up the second baseman, and Andres Rios, with a game no score here in the top half of the first inning. So the 2 schools where Gamelin went, 2 colleges where he went, Fitchburg State in Massachusetts and then he transferred to Rhode Island College. And Rhode Island College is where he predominantly went to school. He pitched for the Anchormen for 3 seasons. So now it's Rios who bats, and pitch from the set, and Gamelin misses low outside, ball 1. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes to Rios. So Fisher, good speed, the runner at first, being held on by Gonzalez. And Gamelin from the set. An extreme first base side of the rubber comes home, and that's high ball 2. And the count is now at 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count to Rios. Bats at .250 through his first 9 games, no homers, and he has 4 runs batted in. 2 balls, no strikes the count. Gamelin back to the plate, and that's very high ball 3, up and in. And the count's at 3 balls and no strikes to Rios. Rios 1 for 3 yesterday, a single and a walk. He has a hit in the first 3. I say a hit, meaning at least 1 hit in all 3 games he's played in this series. All have been singles. So single Tuesday, single Wednesday, single on Thursday. Meanwhile, the catcher Mason Minzy out to talk to Gamelin a little bit. Gamelin in white pants up to his knees, thick look to the black socks, white high tops. Yolo in the white shirts, white pants, black cap, gold bill. High Wheelers spelled across the front in gold, gold number on the back. 3 balls, no strikes. And the kick and the pitch, and that's down the middle, taking strike 1. And the count is at 3 balls and 1 strike to Rios. Again, Fisher, the runner at first base. And he takes off, and Rios swings in a high fly ball down the right field side. That'll go out of play. And the count's at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Andres Rios. Mentioned Fisher, good speed. I mean, not have a stolen base this year. In fact, he's 0 for 2, but generally look at him, and obviously a leadoff guy and plays the outfield, a guy that does have speed. Doesn't mean you always have a lot of stolen bases, or in his case any. The 3-2 here to Rios and a pop-up foul right side. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Talking about Gamelin and his time at Rhode Island College, again a Division III school. Pitched there for 3 seasons, an all-conference player there, all Little East Conference. As opposed to the Big East, it's the Little East when you're referring to a Division III program. And Rhode Island College. So 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. No score, top half of the first inning. So Fisher, the runner at first base. And from the belt, the 3-2 pitch, Fisher goes, and Rios is swinging a foul to the backstop. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Andres Rios. Now 3-2 the count. And the top half of the first. So we've had several full count pitches. I'm about to have another one from Gamelin to Rios. Fisher doesn't go, and Rios another pop-up foul right side. And the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3-2 the count. And now the 4th full count pitch. Fisher goes this time, and Rios takes high ball 4. So it's back-to-back full count walks issued by Gamelin to get this game going. No score, top half of the first. And now Drew Sackett will come to the plate. Anyway, Gamelin at Rhode Island College, overall record in his 3 years there, collective record was 12-2, and I mentioned was an all Little East Conference performer, all regional performer for the small colleges up in New England. So now it's first and second for Drew Sackett. 0-0, top half of the first. Sackett 269 through his first 9 games. Middle infield looking to turn 2. Gamelin would love a double play ball right here. And the pitch, and that's up and in, ball one. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes to Sackett. So 269 for Sackett. He has 2 home runs, and he has, well, as many RBIs for Sackett, who played his college baseball at North Dakota State. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. And the pitch, and that swung on. Low liner towards second, picked by Banks. Steps on second for one. They get a tag. Out of the baseline was Fisher. Now, how are they going to rule that? I believe that's a...
That's 2 for Tuesdays.
Well, yeah, Banks let the ball drop. It was a low line drive. It certainly wasn't going to be high enough for the infield fly rule. So he let the ball drop, and then he stepped on second for one, and then Fisher had to stay put at second, and then he took off for third, and then when they tried to tag him, he was called out for being out of the baseline, so that is a double play. That's not quite the double play that I was talking about that Galen was looking for, but he got it. And now it's Turner who swings and misses strike one. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. That's a double play that goes 4-6 on the double play. 4 unassisted when Banks stepped on second, and then he threw to the shortstop, Marine, who was the closest player to Fisher. There goes Sackett, pitch swung on a miss, throw to second base. Gets past the second baseman, Banks. It's backed up by the shortstop, Marine. And Sackett is safe at second base. So Sackett reaches on the 4-6 double play. Now he has just stolen second base. No score, top half of the first inning. Sackett, that's his 3rd steal this year in as many tries. Count to Turner is at 0-2. Turner bats at .308. He has a homer that's been in this series, 10 RBIs. Gamelin delivers, and a breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 3. And Turner is down on strikes, and that's the first pro strikeout for Sean Gamelin. We'll score that play for you when we get back. I know he touched on it a little bit, but we'll go more into detail next half inning. So no runs, there were no hits, no errors, and a runner left after half an inning. Grand Junction nothing, and Yolo coming up on YouTube Live. After half an inning, Grand Junction nothing, and Yolo coming up to face the left-hander Brandon Ross, who was out of the windup in the first pitch on the way to Braylon Marine, inside ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Nothing, bottom of the first. Yolo and Grand Junction. Marine, Leday, and Gonzalez to face Ross. Works from the third base side of the rubber, and the pitch, and that's low and in, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Marine did not play yesterday, and in there today as the shortstop, which is his normal position. Ross kicks in the 2-0. Down the middle, strike one. And the count's at 2 balls and 1 strike. Brandon Ross, 6 feet, 190 pounds. He's 25 years old. He's from Marietta, California, north of San Diego. The kick on the 2-1, swing and a tapper foul over toward the third base Grand Junction dugout. And the count's at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brandon Ross to Braylon Marine. Billy Horton is the Yolo third base coach and manager. Looks like Angel Mendoza, backup catcher, coaching over at first base. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch, and Marine swings on a pop-up foul right side. And the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marine. Marine, mentioned, did not play yesterday's game. So his last game was Wednesday. He was 2 for 5 with a couple of singles and an RBI after having a 4-hit game on Tuesday. As the 2-2 pitch outside, ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Marine, of the 2 games he's played in this series, has 6 hits. And all are singles. Marine waits in the 3-2. Swing and a inside-out pop-up toward the line in right, and over to snatch it in midair is Henderson. 1 down. Or did he not make the catch? He did not make the catch. He reached up. I thought he had that one. I beg your pardon, folks. So that's a foul ball. Made a sliding effort. Well, looked good. Just, I guess, wasn't good. So Marine still up there. Marine hits at an even .400. He's got 8 home runs, and he's got 20. He's got 8 home runs, and he's got 6 runs batted in. He's 8 for his first 20. And Braylon Marine, all 8 of his hits are singles. The kick in the 3-1, or 3-2, I should say, and that's low inside, ball 4. So Braylon Marine draws a walk. So as it turns out, good plate appearance there for Marine. So move him down to first base. He has 2 steals this season. Yolo 18 for 21 in stolen bases this year. And I say this year, of course, it's only been 6 games for the High Wheelers. So Marine is at first base, and now it's Bobby Leday who digs in. Leday 364 through his first 6 games. He has 1 home run, and he has a team high 10 RBIs. Of course, a bundle of those RBIs came here on Tuesday night when he had 6 runs batted in, including the grand slam. So the runner at first base in Marine being held on by Villafuerte. And the pitch from Ross, and that's popped up foul right side, strike 1-0-1. So let's go back to that double play that took place in the top of this inning. Sackett reaches on the double play, which went 4-6. Rios was forced at second. 4 unassisted. The 0-1 pitch, low ball, 1-1-1. That's the low line drive that Sackett hit Banks, the second baseman. Kirkland's Banks let the ball drop. Rios was forced at second, 4 unassisted. And then Fisher, who had to hold up in case that ball was caught, but then once he saw the ball at the ground, then he had to go to third, and then he got hung up between second and third as Leday swings here and drives one toward left center field. That's taken for the gap. That's going to get down. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Billy Horton is going to send Marine to the plate, and he will come across and dive in safely with the game's first run. It's an RBI double for Bobby Leday, and it's 1-0 in favor of the High Wheelers. So Leday keeps right on hitting, a double to left center field. That's his now 11th RBI. Leday been on base safely all games in this series, so 4 hits here on Tuesday. Then did not have a hit here on Wednesday, but still reached base safely 3 times with 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And then yesterday had a single, sac fly, and a hit by pitch, and now a double here. So Leday alone in this series now has 9 RBIs. 9 of his 11 RBIs have come over these 4 games. And, of course, we just started the 4th game. Now it's Jose Gonzalez with a runner at second and nobody on. 1-0 the High Wheelers out in front, and Jose takes outside, ball 1-0. So, again, there was a 4 unassisted on the force portion of that double play. And then Fisher was out 4-6 on the putout. because that part was not a force. The 1-1 is outside for a ball. So a 4 unassisted on Rios, a 4-6 put out on Fisher when he was caught off second base. He technically went out of the baseline, but you can still call it a 4-6 put out because Banks did flip the ball to the shortstop Marine. The second baseman Banks flipped the ball to the shortstop Marine, and Marine was the closest player to Fisher being out of the baseline. So the rule there is the player closest to the base running violation. The fielder there is the one who gets credit for the put out. So again, that's the craziness of that one. The unforced double play. 4 unassisted on the first part. On the forced play, 4-6 on the put out on the second play, making it a double play. Count to Gonzalez is a 2 balls and no strikes. Jose, 7 hits in his first 13 at bats. No homers. He's got 3 RBIs. Outfield medium depth and straight away. And the pitch on the way from Brandon Ross is outside, and that is ball 3. And the count's now at 3 balls and no strikes to Gonzalez with Sam Kaczynski wanting on deck. Well, Gonzalez, obviously by a 538 average, which I know is a pretty small sample size over 5 games, but hitting the ball well early. Lead at second base by Leday in the 3-0, and that's in the dirt, and that is ball 4. Good block there by the catcher Olson. So Leday holds at second. And Gonzalez reaches base again. Now, he has reached base safely now in his last 6 plate appearances. This series alone, Gonzalez has a 3-hit game. He also has a 3 RBI game. And 6 for his first 10 official at-bats coming into today's game in this series. So the first 3 High Wheelers have reached. It's a 1-0 lead for Yolo. And now it's Kaczynski who digs in at 421. He's 8 for his first 19. No homers, 5 RBIs. The runners go. Pitch taken outside. Throw to third. And that is not in time. And since Gonzalez, Leday slides in safely, and Gonzalez also off on the pitch. So that is a double steal. So give Leday a stolen base. That's his 4th. Gonzalez stolen base. That's his 1st. Count to Kaczynski is at 0-1, and now the infield comes in with Mason Minzy wetting on deck. Outfield around to the left and the pitch, and that's low and in for a ball. And the count's now at 1 ball and 1 strike with a 1-0 lead for the High Wheelers. So Kaczynski in this series is DH. He's played first, and now second game in this series for him at third base. Kaczynski 0 for 3 yesterday with a walk and a run scored as he takes low from Ross ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and 1 strike. So Kaczynski, despite being hitless in his last 5 at bats, certainly has gotten on base a lot, though. I mentioned a walk yesterday with a run scored. The day before, walked twice, also scored a run. Infield in the 2-1, and that swung on, and that's bloop. Center field, base hit. Leday scores. Gonzalez, he is going to be waved home. And the throw cut off by the first baseman Villafuerte back of the mound. And seeing that on the throw into the infield, Kaczynski goes to second. 2 RBIs for him, so much for that little 0 for 5 deal there. And it's now 3-0 in favor of Yolo. So give Kaczynski 2 RBIs, number 6 and 7 for him. So Leday scores, Gonzalez scores, single to center, 2 RBIs, and second on the throw. So now the first 4 High Wheelers have reached. Second hit for Yellow. 3-0 now High Wheelers, and now it's Minzy who bats. 3:08 early going for him, 4 for his first 13, and he takes outside ball 1 from Brandon Ross. 1 ball and no strikes. So 4 for his first 13. Minzy has 4 RBIs. So every High Wheeler on the active roster, obviously position players we're talking, have at least an RBI this year through the first now 6+ games. As the 1-0 pitch to Minzy, low ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and no strikes. Glad you can join us here on YouTube Live. We'll be back on YouTube Live tomorrow, Sunday, and then, of course, for the Oakland series. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Runners lead at first and second, and the pitch, and that's low and in, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes the count from Brandon Ross, who played his college baseball not far from where he grew up. Mentioned he grew up in Marietta, California, north of San Diego. Played his college baseball at Cal Baptist, which is in Riverside. 3 balls and no strikes with Smith on deck. 3-0 High Wheelers, bottom of the first, and the 3-0 to Minzy, and that's down the middle, strike 1. And the count's at 3 balls and 1 strike. Russ, mentioned, went to Cal Baptist. That was the last college where he attended. But first went to University of Hawaii. The 3-1 here, and that's low and in, ball 4. So Minzy draws a walk. That's the 3rd walk allowed by Ross. And it looks like the manager, Chris Namenshu, is going to take a very, very slow walk out to the hill. I'd have to think somebody is starting to get warm for Grand Junction. We are not allowed, we're allowed to see the bullpens. We just can't see the bullpens from where we are. Again, our broadcast location here is up on the concourse inside the press box, but the bullpens on each side. Yolo's down the right field line. Grand Junction obviously on the other side, down the left side, and we cannot see the bullpens either way. But anyway, have to think that somebody is getting out there, getting loose right now. Have to think that. Ross, last year with the Lancers of Cal Baptist, took part in a game where he, along with the other pitchers in this game, had a 16 strikeout performance. Not all of them had 16 strikeouts, but collectively had 16 strikeouts, which is the most ever in a game in Cal Baptist's Division I era for a single-game strikeout record. So now it's Tanner Smith, and he takes a breaking pitch for a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. In Ross, 6 feet, 190 pounds. For Brandon Ross, went to Vista Marietta High School in Southern California. No balls and 1 strike. And the pitch to Smith, and that is low, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike to Smith. He's sitting at 150. 4 hits in his first 20 at-bats. Let me correct that. 3 hits in his first 20 at-bats. 3 for his first 20. He's got 2 RBIs. The 1-1 on the way, and that hits the outer half of the plate, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Kirkland Banks on deck. 3-0 Yolo, first inning, bottom half. Still nobody out. The first 5 High Wheelers have reached. It's been walk, double, walk, single, walk. So I guess that means if you keep this going, Smith would get a hit. The 1-2, and he swats one high and foul left side. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tanner Smith. 0 for 4 yesterday after reaching base safely all 4 times here on Wednesday with 2 walks and 2 singles. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And runners at first and second, and the pitch. Smith a tapper foul up along first. And the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here at Dobbins Stadium, which opened in 1986, seats 3,500. 310 down the lines. 385 to the gaps. And 410 to straightaway center. About a 10-foot fence roughly all the way around. The kick on the 1-2. And Smith swings and a tapper slowly hit. Grass first base side. And the pitcher, Ross, trying to glove it. Can't come up with it. And everybody is safe. So that'll be an infield single for Smith. That was a tough play for the pitcher, Ross. Again, the first baseman, Villafuerte, you're taught there to, hold your base at first. I mean, someone's got to be over at first. There was no way Ross was going to get over there himself. Looked like the second baseman, Rios, was charging that ball as well. Well, I said Smith had to keep this trend going with a hit. Walk, hit, walk, hit, walk, hit, and Smith gets the infield single. That loads the bases, and it's Kirkland Banks now with nobody out. 3-0 Yolo. Bottom of the first, and Banks takes inside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Banks, 238, 5 for his first 21. He's got 2 RBIs. So it's Kaczynski who moved to third. Minzy's up to second. Smith at first. And Banks swings and lines this one to left field. And unable to come up with the what would have been leaping catch is Smith. And however, that's the bad news, or the good news. The bad news is Minzy is forced at third base. Now a run is in. Crazy play there. Kaczynski scores to make it 4-0 Yolo. So that is, of course, not a base hit. That's a force play. It is an RBI. And we'll have to see. I believe it was the shortstop, Sackett, who went out to take the throw. So 1 out, 4-0 Yolo. And now it's Kirby who comes up. And the pitch to Justin Kirby, and that's taken down the middle, strike 1. And the count is a no balls and 1 strike. So no balls and 1 strike to count to Kirby. 3 hits in his first 8 at-bats. He's got 1 RBI. Ross delivers, and Kirby takes a breaking ball for a strike on the inside corner, 0-2. So Kaczynski scores. That, again, is a force play at third. Minzy is out. I don't know if, I guess Minzy must have thought that the ball was caught and went back towards second and then said, uh-oh, and even though the ball was almost to the warning track, they were still able to force the runner at third. The 0-2 pitch, and that's hit on the ground to shortstop, grabbed by Sackett, goes to Rios at second for 1, and that's all they get. So Smith is forced at second base. I'm sorry, Banks is forced at second base, 6-4. Mentioned Banks does get an RBI. Kirby becomes the runner at first. Smith goes to third on the force. So Smith is at third. Kirby is at first. There's 2 outs, 4-0 Yolo. And now it's Guerra who bats, the 9th man to bat in this inning. And Brandon Ross delivers, and Guerra takes a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. So 0-1 the count to Gehrig. First appearance in center field in the young campaign. 2 for his first 5. And Kyle takes outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike the count. And the pitch, and that's swung on by Guerra. Line left field. That'll fall in. Base hit. And a score from third is Smith. Give Guerra an RBI. 5-0 now Yolo. Kirby moves up to second base. And now the top of the Yolo order for the second time in this inning for the shortstop, Braylon Marine. So give Guerra, as I said, a run batted in. That's his second. Now Marini got this whole thing going with the leadoff walk. And he scored on the double by Leday, and he swings and a ground ball foul up along third. No balls and 1 strike. So again, Guerra, RBI single for him. Moving Kirby up to second. So the play that, the ball that Banks hit, the ball that the left fielder Smith leaped and couldn't get, but they got the force at third base. That went 7-6-5 on the force at third on Minzy. The 0-1, and that sails all the way to the backstop. That'll be a wild pitch. Catcher Olsen has to go pick up the ball, so Kirby goes to third. Guerra up to second. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike, and a 5-0 lead for Yolo. Bottom of the first inning. Doug Greenwald with you on YouTube Live on this Friday afternoon from Dobbins Stadium. So that went Smith, Sackett, Bathauer, left field, shortstop, third base on that force at third on Minzy. But Banks does get an RBI on that, the 1-1, and that's popped up foul right side, strike 2. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Banks, that's his third RBI this year. So they've seen a couple of weird plays so far today. So in this inning, the High Wheelers have had 5 hits, have a 5-0 lead. Marine behind at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Kirby's at third, Guerra's at second, and Ross's pitch, and that's inside out at foul right side. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count with 2 out, with Bobby Leday wetting on deck. I have to think this could be Ross's last bat. I've been saying for a while, or thinking for a while, that Grand Junction has to have somebody warming up. The 1-2 on the way, and that's low ball 2. And the count's now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marine. I talked to Braylon before the game this afternoon. Told me it's the first time that he's ever been on the West Coast in any capacity, never even a family trip. Says he really enjoys it out here with the warm weather. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Marine takes up and away ball 3, 3-2. And Marine growing up on Long Island, in the New York City area, and then went to college at Newberry College in South Carolina. But yes, said, no, my family and I had never been on vacation to California before. Really nowhere on the West Coast he'd ever been until now. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kirby's at third, Guerra's at second, and now time called with a 5-0 Yolo lead. Home half of the first inning. Not much of a breeze here this afternoon. The kick in the 3-2. And that's low and in, ball 4. So Marine, he walks for the second time in this inning. Chris Nabashu, the manager, he is standing right in front of the third base dugout screen. And now it's Leday. There's the 11th batter of this inning. Well, the base is loaded here for Leday, and he already has a grand slam in this series. He's got a chance at 1 now. As Ross delivers and Leday takes, low and in, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. It's been the only homer so far for the High Wheelers. I mentioned this yesterday. I'll mention again. Leday telling me that the first home run he hit last season in the MLB Draft League was a grand slam, playing with the West Virginia team. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners everywhere, and the pitch, and that's a strike on the inner half from Brandon Ross. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike to Leday, wearing the bright yellow high tops. Talking about Yolo in the white shirts and white pants with the black and yellow colors. Grand Junction, the purple shirts, gray pants, the 1-1. And Leday, a grand slam cut and a miss. Breaking ball down and in, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jack spelled across the front of the purple shirt. Jacks. White number on the back. Black cap. Purple bill. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs with Gonzalez on deck. Runners at every base in the 1-2. And Leday grounds one foul up along third. And we'll try it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Ross, well, I know I mentioned the last batter. I said, well, it's probably going to be it for him, but not the case. Well, High Wheelers scored 9 runs in the 8th inning here on Tuesday, and it was Leday's grand slam that capped the 9-run inning. Well, a grand slam here would make it a 9-run inning. Outfield medium depth, and the 1-2, and Leday swings on a chopper toward short, charged by Sackett, throws on the run, and a good pick at first by Villafuerte. And Leday is out, but this all started on the walk to Marine, who later in the inning walked. 5 runs for Yolo on 5 hits, no errors, and Yolo leaves the bases loaded. We go to the second inning, 5-0. Yolo leads Grand Junction on YouTube Live. Yes, correct. Smith scored on the base hit by Guerra.
Racing High Wheelers was one of the most popular sports in America prior to the rise of baseball. Speaking
Correct.
of baseball,
No, Banks reached base 765. Yes. Do you have to put an FC? No, Banks, that was not a single. Because there was an out recorded at third. Minzy was out 7-6-5. After an inning, 5-0 Yolo out in front over Grand Junction. Doug Greenwald with you on YouTube Live. Conrad Villafuerte leads it off, and the first pitch from Sean Gamelin is low outside, ball one. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes. Villafuerte, Bathauer, and Henderson 5, 6, and 7 to face Gamelin, so he's got to feel pretty good. A 5-run lead with which to work in his now second pro inning as he delivers and a pop-up hit foul right side, strike one. And the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike. Villafuerte did not play yesterday. Had a base hit here on Wednesday and then had 3 hits here on Tuesday. 4-hit series so far for Villafuerte, who drives one foul right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Conrad Villafuerte. He comes up 294. 5 hits in his first 17 at bats. The 1-2 pitch. And he reaches for this one and a tapper foul toward the backstop. And the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Villafuerte. 5 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the High Wheelers. Nothing across for the Jackalopes, who are off to a 1-7 start. And there was one game that didn't go as a win or a loss because they lost a knockout round to Boise, the 1-2. And that's fouled to the plate. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Villafuerte. Umpires for today's game, all we know is Eric Martinez is the umpire at third base. I'll give you the other 2 names. I'm just not sure who's working home or who's working at third. Or I'm sorry, who's working at first is Villafuerte. Chopper back at third. Grab back of the bag by Kuczynski and a long throw across to Gonzalez. And the High Wheelers up by a score of 5-0. And now it's Mike Bathauer who will come to the plate. So the umpires for today's game, mentioned Eric Martinez is the third base umpire. The first pitch on the way to Bathauer, and that's taken for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. The other umpires are Bill Shortridge, Jimmy Richens. I'm just not sure who is working home or working first. Between those two, Bathauer, a fly ball back a second. Out goes the second baseman Banks in the shallow center, and the second baseman Kirkland Banks, he makes the catch. So 2 up and 2 down. We're in the top half of the second inning. It is 5-0. The Yolo High Wheelers out in front. And now the right fielder Damian Henderson comes up. Henderson a home run in this series. The windup and the pitch, and that is taken high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Henderson 1 home run on the year to go along with, well, his lone RBI. 6 for his first 30, and even 200 average for the Bakersfield product, Cal State Bakersfield product. The 1-0 pitch from Gamelin, high, ball 2. And the count's at 2 balls and no strikes from Sean Gamelin to Damian Henderson. The 2-0 pitch, and that's a strike on the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike. So yesterday we saw the pro debut of Brandon McPherson, who was the starter for Yolo. Today it's Gamelin, sporting goggle-like glasses. The kick on the 2-1, and that's up and away, ball 3. Well, the count is now at 3 balls and 1 strike. And McPherson was the winning pitcher yesterday, going 6 innings. Right here, 5-0 Yolo, the 3-1 pitch, and Henderson bloops one toward left. Smith comes in, and Tanner Smith makes the easy catch. And Henderson is out, and 1-2-3 goes Grand Junction. We go to the bottom half of the second. It is 5-0 Yolo leading Grand Junction on YouTube Live. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. It is 5-0 Yolo. And Jose Gonzalez leads it off. And, well, Brandon Ross, who had a rocky first inning, but still out there as he pours in a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Ross right back. Gonzalez a swing and a miss and a high fastball. No balls and 2 strikes. So, you have a good first inning when the third batter in the order leads off the second inning. Schmidt and Yolo sent 11 batters up in the first and totaled 5 runs on 5 hits and a few walks in there. The kick in the 0-2 pitch. Outside ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In fact, I say a few walks. I'll be specific. 5 hits and 3 walks in that inning. Gonzalez, one of those walks, and that included a stolen base. Ross, third base side of the rubber, makes the 1-2, and Gonzalez a pop-up foul left side. And the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jose Gonzalez. The windup by Ross and the pitch. Gonzalez swings and a tapper past the mound toward the second base bag. To his right, the second baseman Rios. His throw to first, not in time. Bang bang play there. The first baseman Villafuerte taking the throw. And Jose Gonzalez beats it out. So now 7 straight times he has reached base safely. He has himself a base hit, and that's the 6th hit for Yolo. A 5-0 lead for the Yolo High Wheelers. And now here's the third baseman, and Sam Kaczynski. 2-run single and a run scored in the first inning. As Ross from the set position. Ready to go. Kicks and delivers, and Kaczynski takes, and that's a strike on the outside corner. And the count's at no balls and 1 strike from Brandon Ross, who was born in Newport Beach. And then, as mentioned, grew up in Marietta, California. The 0-1, and that's in the dirt, ball 1. Well, the count's at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mentioned Cal Baptist, the Division I school in the Western Athletic Conference. Whatever is left of the Western Athletic. Well, they still got about 9 schools. I shouldn't say that. They lost a few in the last few years, but I think just about every conference has. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch, and Kuczynski waves weakly at a breaking ball and misses strike 2. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes, but mentioned Ross, part of his college stops, the University of Hawaii. So he delivers the 1-2, and Kuczynski flies this one high and deep toward center field, sends Fisher twisting and turning, and he'll be there to make the catch in straightaway center. And Gonzalez, who'd gone almost all the way to second, retreats to first. So that's out number 1 here in the bottom of inning number 2. At a 5-0 UC or 5-0, sorry, saying UC Davis. I'll explain why in a moment. 5-0 Yolo lead. And now it's Minzy. I was going to say that when Ross mentioned was at the University of Hawaii, pitched a total of 7 games for the Rainbows. Now, one of those years was the pandemic season, 2020, where he got into 4 games. So now it's Minzy who takes a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. And then the second year, 3 games. So I don't know if he played it all against UC Davis, but there's Hawaii and UC Davis, both in the Big West for baseball. The 0-1 pitch, and that's hit back a third, and that is fair. On down the left field line, that's going to go into toward the corner. On his way to third is Gonzalez, and hustling into second with a dive is Minzy. He has his first hit today, now 1 for 1. 5-0 Yolo, bottom of the second. So Gonzalez goes to third. Minzy is at second base. And now it's Tanner Smith who digs in. Left fielder Smith eventually getting to the baseball, so this will force the infield in for Smith. An infield hit on a run scored. 5-0 Yolo, a chance for more right here. Again, a big hole up the middle with the infield in. Swinging a chopper to first, grabbed by Villafuerte, and now coming to the plate is Gonzalez. So is the throw. Now Gonzalez hung up between third and home, and the throw back from the catcher Olson to the third baseman Bathauer. And out at third is Gonzalez. So the contact play was on right there, and they get the fielder's choice. 3-2-5 on the play at the plate. That's a fielder's choice. 3-2-5. I say at the plate, between the plate and third base. The tag was literally made at third base, but 3-2-5 on that play. Minzy holds at second. So 2 out, first and second now. Smith is at first. He's 1 for 2. Here's Kirkland Banks, so 2 out, 2 on. 5-0 the score. The High Wheelers lead it, and the pitch to Banks is low inside, ball 1. And the count's at 1 ball and no strikes. So that was one of those where I think with a 5-run lead, maybe you take a chance, and they did, just with a contact play. You remember, a play at the plate, no force was available. They had to run everything correctly, and Grand Junction did. There's the 1-0 to Kirkland. There's a strike called on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Banks reached on a crazy force play in the first inning. Even though he got an RBI out of it, it was a ball hit to left that the left fielder Ethan Smith leaped and dropped the ball. But with the bases loaded, the runners all held initially, which is understandable, as this pitch is inside out at foul, first base side. And the count's at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, one of the runners scored. The runner at third scored Kuczynski, but Minzy was all the way back at second base, then saw the ball drop, then he had to hustle to third, and he was forced at third. So Banks, instead of getting a hit, had to settle for an 0-4 in that at bat, but did get a run batted in. As the pitch fouled to the backstop, 1-2. That's a tough 0-4 right there. It's a tough at bat right there. When you drive a ball hard to the outfield, the ball was not caught. It wasn't going to be an error, but just misplayed. But they still get a force, and even though you get an RBI, you're still and you reach base, you're still a victim by being 0-for-1 within that at bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count with 2 out, but it's the crazy thing about baseball. You can get an 0-4 in that at bat, and the next time up you can hit a squibber 5 feet in front of the plate and get a base hit. Runners lead at first and second, and Brandon Ross from the set kicks and delivers, and Banks looks at strike 3 on the outside corner. They want to challenge that. So they're going to challenge that. And that's the pitch was confirmed a strike, and Banks is out. He's now for 2 today, and that's the first strikeout for Ross. So the High Wheelers do not score in this second inning. No runs, there were 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the third. It is 5-0 Yolo leading Grand Junction on YouTube Live.